Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today I'm once again in the Yūdachi, an upcoming Tier 7 premium Japanese destroyer. This ship is currently in testing and all stats are subject to change. Now, this game is on the map estuary, it's a 4-point domination game, it's a Tier 8 battle. I'm the only DD, there is no radar interesting enough, but there's a carrier. And well, at the start, I'm just inside here trying to camp. Now, what has changed for the Yūdachi since I last took a look at this ship? Well, the Yūdachi now has better torpedo reload, worse torpedo damage, and better torpedo concealment. So, yeah. A lot of people have complained that Yūdachi needs more buffs, and nerf to the torpedo damage has left many people pretty much shocked, because they were asking for buffs and the ship got a nerf in that regard. Now the thing is, one of the biggest problems Yūdachi has is people's perceptions. Like, I've seen plenty of people who got good games in this ship, maybe got 100k damage out of it, and at the same time complained that it's literally impossible to land a torpedo hit. Which makes no sense if you got 100k torpedo damage in the very same battle. And the problem is that, well, human perception is pretty flawed. If you know that those torpedoes have bad stats on paper, then a lot of people will just blame every torpedo miss on those stats and will get very frustrated in the process. Also here, I probably should have used the second salvo against those guys. I wanted to catch the Shiratsuyu. I was hoping he'd sail around here, but you know. So, also, you see here that Shiratsuyu is dodging, right? Now there can be many reasons for that. There were the planes that were involved, so he might have turned to stop the planes, he might have turned away to get away from my guns, or he might have seen those torps and dodged. Now of course the Shiratsuyu saw those torps at some point, which means the Yamagi saw those torps, which means the Yamagi slowed down and dodged. Now it's entirely possible that bad torpedo concealment had something to do with all of this. It's also possible that the torpedo concealment was irrelevant for this whole thing. But because you know that your concealment on the torpedoes is bad, everybody will just be like, well, if I had better torps, I'd gotten a hit here. Now the torpedo concealment is 300 meters worse than the Shiratsuyu. So, how much does this change? Good question. I say there will be situations where it makes a difference. How often? That's very hard to say. In the end of the day, what matters is how much average damage, I guess, do people achieve in this ship, and Wargaming thought it was too much. Now I haven't seen Wargaming statistics, so I can't tell you if their assessment is accurate or not. And certainly, I also feel like it could use a little bit more love, but I'm having fun in this ship, and from my results it's definitely alright, and it performs close to Shiratsuyu. So the question is, do you like a Shiratsuyu? Now here, once again, like those torps will continue and they could potentially hit the King George. Thing is, I sunk the Yamagi with this torp salvo, so the Yamagi spotted the remaining torps that passed by her, which means the King George knows them, and which means the King George will dodge them. Once again, nothing to do with bad torpedo concealment, but I've seen a lot of situations like this where people go like, oh, obviously they're dodge, those torps are crap. And sometimes you really need to take the time to think about what happened, and maybe watch that in a replay and not during the action in a battle. And you suddenly realize, you know what? Maybe I'm blaming those torps a little bit too much. So let's speed up the current part of the replay, because what I'm doing right now is I'm sailing to sea in order to, well, grab the sea cap. Of course, you know, caps are good, and the sea cap is undefended. Now my carrier is doing a good job of harassing the Shiratsuyu, and The enemy isn't really pushing into the decap, so I can just take C, then come back and continue to dorp those guys. Now I've launched some random torps here because why not? I'm smoking because the carrier came in and I didn't want to be interrupted. I want to get my cap here. Thank you very much. And then I'll just be on my merry way. Now carrier's still around. I had my anti-air turn off so that he couldn't like target me based on the traces. I should have turned my anti-air back on once I was outside of the smoke and he was striking me down. But, you know, the anti-air on this ship is so crap that it's a miracle if you ever shoot down a plane. So, yeah, well, we are back to torping those battleships, and, well, let's see how well I'm estimating what they are doing. Overall, we have the cap advantage. Now we have one ship behind, which isn't too problematic. They are probably trying to retake the sea cap. Let's hope our team here can do something useful. We have Anamaki here in the front, but he has to be careful. If he pushes in here too hard, he might just broadside to those guys, and obviously he is pushing away from his support once he goes around his island. Nobody can help him, well, except maybe myself. I'm not sure how much help that will be. So, well, I guess back to the Yūdachi. Personally, I enjoy this ship. I just really love the 2 more kilometers range I get over the Shiratsuyu. And in a radar heavy game and in cap-oriented playstyle, that can be very valuable. If you're sitting in a cap, you're usually sitting on your side of the cap because you gotta keep your distance to radars and you gotta keep your exits open. And that means you can't approach very close to the enemies, and that means 2 kilometers more range are actually pretty valuable at times. So for my aggressive cap-oriented playstyle, it's really comfortable ship to play. I always use smoke anyway over the torpedo reload booster in a Shiratsuyu. So this ship was in many ways designed for exactly my playstyle. There is a problem. I don't think very many people play the way I do. So yeah, this is like basically if you design a ship for just me, it's not very useful to most people. And obviously the Yūdachi is a very much anticipated ship, so at least in the anime community. So it seems a bit unfair that this ship is maybe a niche product. Also, to be fair, I don't think most people would do so bad in the Yūdachi. It's just that she has so much negative press around her that people will probably get more frustrated in her than they should. Now, when it comes to how efficient the torpedoes are and how much damage the average person will do in this ship, well, I guess we will have to see what wargaming statistics say. And maybe they're going to buff her again, I certainly wouldn't mind. Now, I think currently this ship is alright. It's not that weak, but it's not that good either. So it's pretty much just somewhere in the middle ground. Now also keep in mind that the Yūdachi has 5.7 kilometer concealment, and tier 7 concealment is pretty trash usually, because tier 8 has the concealment module. So having a tier 7 destroyer with competitive concealment when up tiered is actually a huge advantage, and there is only 2 ships that have that, basically the Yūdachi and the Shiratsuyu. So that's also something that I value a lot, because it helps with getting caps if you spot the enemy destroyer, or they spot you, especially if they are higher tier and you can't really gunfight them. So here I've just smoked up and I'm trying to shoot at George, and I get godlike fire RNG, which is nice. Now he's so low on health that he will have to damage combat, which means if I get another godlike RNG fire, then he's pretty much done for. But even if I don't get it, there's the carrier coming in. Meanwhile, of course, all of my team, well, most of my team has spontaneously combusted, so this is looking like a loss anyway. Also, I'm being pushed by a Bismarck, which means I'm pretty much dead. Like, I could have turned around early and run away, which would have been the smart choice. But considering that this game is going to be lost if we all go and play this passive, I don't think it's Like, I mean, there isn't that much that I can do if I just run away. So basically this Bismarck's Hydro isn't ready, it's the only reason why I'm still alive. And yeah, again, a smart choice would have been to run away earlier. Now I've gotten some torps into one of the battleships and now I'm going to charge the other one. I'm close to being proximity spotted, and you see those torps might have trash concealment, but at this range it doesn't matter. So goodbye Bismarck. Well, unfortunately there isn't really much else that I can do this battle. My smokes on cooldown, my torps are on cooldown, my team is non-existent, and I'm way too close to dodge anything. So I'm going down, but not before I get another godlike RNG fire here, cause why not? And that means I'm getting a little bit more damage here, while the enemy reaches 1000 points and wins. Here we are with results and some more conclusions, I guess. So overall I would say Yūdachi is alright. She isn't that great, but she isn't total trash either. You have great concealment, you can go scout, you can go camp, and with 12km torps you, well, will have often targets to torpedo even in radar heavy metas, even while dodging carriers. You will get some torps off. The hit rate isn't that great, then again, no torpedo boat is that consistent. So, I enjoy the Yūdachi, but as I said, I'm probably the only person who does, and I might just be weird. So Wargaming might just need to change something to make this ship more attractive to the masses. We will see what they do, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time.